This is
Hey guys, this is Pete on the beat. In this video I'll unbox, partly build and review something I wanted to have so bad since the last couple of years. That's the amazing BMX Cruiser I finally bought. While going through the actual unboxing / building process, I'll also share with you the following things. My short story with bikes, what I've learned about bikes, in particular BMX and BMX Cruisers, and last but not least, what made me pick that exact one over all of the other options I had. But before starting, I believe it is the right thing for me to do this quick disclaimer. I'm by no means a BMX rider nor bike specialist, and I'm also not interested in becoming one. Although I'm a huge fan of BMX, the reason why I bought the bike is to cruise around, have fun and maybe do a little bit of wheelies. That's all. And as long as for the other things, I decided to share them with you to firstly make the whole video / post more complete and entertaining, and secondly because I think my experience and what I've learned could help others make the right choice when they're trying to pick up a bike. So with all of that being said, let's begin. Growing up as a kid, I adored riding bikes. Although I really wanted to have a BMX, I couldn't afford buying me decent one, and all of the bikes I had back then massively sucked. That, however, wasn't stopping me from abusing the crap out of them, and sometimes I was cruising around my neighborhood and the local park for hours. As a teenager, however, things changed and my interest in bikes somehow faded away. During the late part of that period, I was mostly using my savings to either buy me studio gear or stuff like clothes and sneakers. Bikes were not coming to my head for close to a decade and a half, and due to that I stopped riding them entirely. Not so sure how it exactly happened, but at the mid-2015 something made me want to start messing with bikes again. As long as I can remember, I saw a music producer I look up to riding a BMX bike as a regular one in between his beat-making sessions. That not only reminded me how tight and different of all others the BMX bikes actually look, but as well reignited my desire to start doing the same. Basically, I thought that it would be pretty awesome if I'm able to cruise around my neighborhood the way I used to as a kid, but now with a sick-ass bike. Although I became truly determined to sooner or later buy me one, that wasn't really a priority, but more of an idea that stayed at the back of my head for quite a while. Plus that I really didn't know anything about BMX nor bikes in general, and due to that I knew I had to do some massive research before buying. The real research began after I bought and returned one 20-inch complete bike. I watched tons of BMX videos, bike builds and vlogs of pro riders on YouTube. I also went on forums, had little discussions with local riders and sent emails to companies and stores in which I was interested. Based on all that, I've learned the following things. There are many different kinds of BMX bikes out there. If a person wants to buy one, he or she firstly has to consider for what purposes the bike is recommended, or in other words, what the bike is made for. Regardless of the bike's purpose, however, buying a bike that is made by a well-known and respected BMX company is always best. If you're new to the bikes, then it would be much better to either firstly test the exact same bike you want to buy, or at least another one with same or similar size and geometry. Therefore, visiting a local BMX store, if there is such in your area, is really not a bad idea. Plus that the people inside might offer you something that is even better for your needs. The buyer has to also pay very close attention to the materials of which the bike is made and carefully look for chromoly parts, sealed bearings and sealed bottom brackets. The materials of which the parts are made is what ultimately determines bike's overall quality. Side note, having parts made of high tensile steel and unsealed bottom brackets and unsealed bearings is something that you probably want to stay away from. If you're like me and you mostly want to cruise around, have fun and besides some very simple stuff not necessarily do tricks, then a BMX Cruiser is exactly what you're looking for. And just in case you're not familiar with the concept of the BMX Cruisers, those are basically big BMX bikes. They have the same geometry of a regular / freestyle BMX, but their wheel size could vary from 24 to 26 to, in some rare cases, 29 inches. The purpose of those bikes is to take one from point A to point B while giving them a feel of real BMX and ability to do some wild tricks such as wheelies, bunny hops, crank flips and some others. All-purpose kind of bikes, the BMX Cruisers are called by many monster truck BMX, and that is due to the fact you can ride them wherever you want, and that pretty much includes all sorts of terrain. A high-end BMX Cruiser is one made of the same materials such as very high-end BMX Complete or high-end BMX aftermarket parts. After seeing them for the first time, I originally wanted to get me one of the SE bikes. Amazed by their design, I thought of either buying me the 2018 Fat Ripper or the 2018 Beast Mode Ripper. Their specs, however, made me change my plans. Please don't get me wrong, I still believe both of those bikes and all of the SE bikes look amazing, due to the fact those two in particular combine BMX geometry, fat tires and disc brakes. Their concept is truly one of a kind, but spending as near as 800 euros on a bike not entirely made of chromoly really doesn't sound appealing to me. Meanwhile, I checked the biggest stores in the local area. Even that some of them are actually selling BMX, the people inside were pretty surprised to find that 26-inch BMX Cruisers actually exist. Because he told me about a real owned by riders BMX store not too far from where I live, a random rider I found in my neighborhood helped me more than all of them together. Despite I usually do the vast majority of my orders either from Amazon or from Germany, I decided to give it a shot and called the store. Very kind and responsive, the person on the other side was not only completely aware of the exact kind of a bike I was looking for, but as well suggested me to come to their store in order to test one. Light and really comfortable, the bike I tested was the 26-inch 2018 Sabrosa Salvador. Although I really liked the look and the feel when riding it, I still did not want the high tensile steel rear end and handlebars, and because of that I got back home and continued my research. Probably in the next week I stumbled on the FitBike's 26-inch Mike Atkins BMX Cruiser. Sucker for chrome, I really like the way it looks for the most part, but what I don't like are the yellow grips, stickers and the yellow on the tires. Made of the desired materials, the bike has everything I was looking for, so I felt it was the one. I mean, back then I wasn't really aware of any other BMX Cruiser to come even close to the quality of that one. Despite that, I decided to wait for a few more days before making my final choice. But at that point I was pretty sure I was going to get it. After all, it was 100% chromoly and all chromed out. Yet I got a call from the store I told you about. The person on the other side asked me if I ever heard of Cold Crew and their 26-inch Devotion Cruiser. He also highly encouraged me to check the company, the particular model he was speaking of, and then maybe return them the call. Super stoked, I immediately watched Anthony Panza's vlog and review of the bike. Then I learned about the legendary Robbie Morales and about the great reputation of his company. Due to the fact I firstly saw the black version with the rack and all that, I was actually really not excited about buying it at first. Then however I went on the company's Instagram page and found the post with the new 2018 Raw edition of the bike. Impressed by the specs and ultimately falling in love with it, the following things came to my head almost in a blink of an eye. This bike is sick as fuck, it simply looks stunning and I must have it. I also wondered if there was a chrome version. Then I visited Code's actual website, saw the chrome version, and that put my search to an end. It was one of those moments when I simply feel what I'm staring at is something I truly need in my life. I guessed it was meant to be, and I definitely did not hesitate those few extra days for no reason. So I called the store and ordered the bike. Until I finally got it, I was checking photos of the bike almost every day and concluded that it would be even more awesome if there was a third colorway, a combination between chromed frame, black handlebars and black fork. Surprisingly, or maybe not that much, that was exactly how the bike came. Because it arrived a bit later and also because I really didn't know that option actually exists, I was a bit scared at first. The idea that someone replaced some of the parts came across my head, and for a moment I even considered returning it. but in the next minute I felt like the universe simply heard my wish and sent me the exact colorway I truly wanted. Besides that, I also got €50 discount and 1 year support from the local BMX store, and then, in the next few days actually, I saw a video of Robbie Morales showing the bike and actually showing the exact same colorway I have, and that gave me even more inner peace. As more than happy with his new bike satisfied customer, in the next 2 weeks I also bought some accessories from the same store, and I highly recommend both of them to anyone who cares about his BMX. So, the first is the Sabrosa War on the Theft Shield Lock. The reason why I bought it is because I want to make sure my bike is nicely locked every time when I decide to leave it for a moment. Although it is remarkably more expensive than many others, based on what I've learned, that is probably one of the most reliable locks money can buy. So the other thing is Shadow Conspiracy's multi-tool. Based on my research and on what the people in that store told me, that is hands down the best tool money can buy. It includes everything you need to build and maintain a BMX bike, and on top of everything also has a hammer. Available in two options, black and chrome, I went with the second in order to make it match with my bike's colorway. Now guys, I'll go through all of the bike specs real quick, but the most important thing to remember is that the whole bike is made of 4130 chromoly steel, and there are not too many bikes made like that in the BMX Cruiser range. Actually, based on what I've learned, there are only 2 or 3 max, so let's begin. Frame 100% chromoly with vintage style whoop tail rear end and 22-inch top tube. Fork 100% chromoly. Integrated headset. Cold Forged Salvation V3 top wall stem. Sean Ricani Cold ODI grips. Full chromoly 2-piece handlebars. Height 6.75, width 28. Sealed mid-bottom bracket, sealed front female hub and sealed cassette hub. Top wall stem with 52mm offset. Cold and Vance Waffle BMX stars. Cold pivotal seat and finally aluminum brake. Based on everything I saw and learned, I think this is the best BMX Cruiser on the market. If I have to pick one to take the second place, I would personally choose Fitbike's Co 26-inch Mike Atkins BMX Cruiser. Riding the Devotion Cruiser, however, feels amazing. At first the seat was a bit stiff, but now it is extremely comfortable and it actually gets even better with every time I ride it. And since I've got it, I almost didn't skip a day of doing so. I highly recommend the bike to anyone who wants very high-end, really fun to ride and amazing looking all-purpose bike. So light, it weighs not more than 31.2 pounds and the grips feel really nice. I love all of the stickers, logos of the brand and especially the beautiful chrome paint job. I believe that the vintage / old school rear end not only gives it a lot of character but as well makes the bike unique. Finally, the tires remind Vans classic waffle outsole and make the bike perfect not only for the streets but also for the beach. The red and white lines on them look sick, and to me personally, the color combination of the whole bike is simply second to none. I also think that this is the best looking bike on the market. The 26-inch Cold Devotion Cruiser comes in big white cold box. Although it is partly assembled, as you probably already saw, some assembling is required. That means you have to put the bars on the stem, the fork, the front wheel and the seat. Once you do all of those things, you're all set. And you're ready to roll, or to ride, I guess it's to ride. The whole bike is made of 4130 chromoly steel. That includes the entire frame, fork and handlebars. If you want to check the full list of specs, however, there will be link in the description box down below. So yeah guys, that was everything for this video. Now I'll leave you with some additional footage, like closer views of the bike, in order to help you develop even better idea exactly how it looks. If you like the video, feel free to comment, hit the like button and maybe even subscribe for more content. I'ma wrap it up for now. I would like to thank you for watching this video. Please stay tuned for more. Have a nice one. Peace and I'm out.
This is